is 3:14 a.m., and the blue light from your phone is the only thing keeping your room alive. You are exhausted. I know you are. Your thumb just keeps scrolling past one flawless life after another while your chest feels like someone is standing on it. You are staring at that 25-year-old self-made millionaire who lives in a minimalist loft in Manhattan. He has that sharp, matte black backpack slung over one shoulder, a custom mahogany standing desk, and he is talking about how a single fragrance changed his entire corporate aura. He looks so incredibly calm, so perfectly put together, so universally loved. And then you look down at your own messy room, your unwashed dishes, and that heavy, familiar ache returns to your stomach. You feel like you are failing. You feel like if you could just buy that exact same backpack or spray that exact same liquid on your wrist, your chaotic, broken life would instantly auto-correct itself. You would magically become disciplined. You would finally belong. Let me tell you something that nobody else will admit to you. You are being hunted. Your brain is being actively short-circuited by a multi-billion-dollar psychological machine that is designed to keep you broke, anxious, and starving for validation. I know this because a few years ago, I was exactly where you are right now. I was drowning in an entry-level job, suffocated by the relentless pressure of trying to look like I belonged in a city that didn't care if I lived or died. I remember the exact night everything collapsed. I was standing in front of my bathroom mirror, getting ready for a company party. I had just dropped $150 on a shiny bottle of luxury perfume, and I'd used Affirm to buy a $500 designer jacket that I absolutely could not afford. I sprayed the liquid on my neck. I inhaled deeply, waiting for that sudden surge of superstar confidence the commercials promised. I looked into the glass, waiting to see a powerful, untouchable version of myself. But the magic didn't happen. The illusion completely shattered. All I saw in that mirror was the exact same tired, stressed out, insecure kid wearing a jacket that still had the return tags tucked under the armpit. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was a notification from my banking app. Your account is overdrawn by $42. Your next automated pay later installment of $180 is due tomorrow. I froze. The blood drained completely from my face. I couldn't even afford a $5 sandwich for dinner. But there I was, standing in a rented room, smelling like a French aristocrat and wearing a piece of fabric that belonged to a credit card company. I sank to the floor, my back sliding against the cold wall, and I wept. I didn't cry because I was out of money. I cried because I realized I was a ghost. I had spent money I hadn't even earned yet just to buy a piece of someone else's identity, all because I was terrified of being the only person at the table who wasn't shining. We tell ourselves so many beautiful lies to justify our desperation. We tell ourselves we buy these things because we appreciate the craftsmanship or the raw ingredients or the unique artistic vision. But that is absolute nonsense. It's just a defense mechanism our brain invents after our raw emotions have already hijacked our wallet. If you took that exact same $150 luxury liquid, poured it into a cheap, generic plastic tube, and tried to sell it on a chaotic street corner for $5, the exact same people would look down their noses at it. They would call it synthetic and trashy. We don't buy the material, we buy the narrative. We buy the dream of who we will become after we hand over our cash. Think about how your mind plays tricks on you. Psychologists call it the halo effect, but you can think of it like a permanent subconscious Instagram filter built right into your brain. When you see an idol or a creator who is gorgeous, wealthy, and universally adored, your lazy brain takes a massive shortcut. It decides that because this person is successful, every single choice they make must be fundamentally correct. Therefore, the exact bag they carry or the exact water bottle they drink from must possess a magical elite energy. Your primal brain, which evolved thousands of years ago to copy the strongest leader of the tribe for basic survival, genuinely believes that if you copy the modern alpha, you will inherit their high social status. But the big brands know this, and they have weaponized it against our generation. They don't even use old-school Hollywood celebrities much anymore because they know your generation has a high defense system against traditional commercials. Instead, they use the micro-influencers, the people who look just like you, who talk like your friends, who record videos in cozy, ordinary-looking bedrooms. They seamlessly embed these symbols of success into their daily vlogs. They make it look so effortless. They create an environment where a $500 item feels like a basic baseline for a normal life. And then they introduce the most dangerous financial trap ever invented: buy now, pay later. Applications like Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay are not financial tools created to help you. They are psychological anesthesia. They are designed to numb the immediate pain of losing money. When your brain sees a $2,000 price tag on a premium minimalist workstation, the logical part of your mind screams at you to stop. It tells you that you cannot afford it. But when that price tag is instantly broken down into 4 small payments of $50 a week, your defense system completely drops. Your brain doesn't register a $2,000 debt. It only registers a tiny, harmless $20 bill. You feel like you're beating the system. You feel like you're gaming the luxury lifestyle. But you aren't gaming anything. You are entering a modern-day debtor's prison, one microtransaction at a time. This is how they trap you. They don't ruin you with one giant, irresponsible purchase. They bleed you to death through 1,000 tiny cuts. It's $15 a week for a viral skincare routine, $20 a month for a gym outfit you saw on TikTok, and $30 a bi-weekly installment for a kitchen gadget that will sit in your cupboard gathering dust. Before you even realize what is happening, your entire monthly paycheck is spoken for before it even hits your account. You become an indentured servant to your own lifestyle, working 40 hours a week at a job you hate just to pay off the ghost of past dopamine rushes. I remember sitting on that cold floor, looking at my bills and realizing that the traditional advice was completely useless. People always tell you to keep an emotional spending journal or to stop and write down your feelings every time you want to buy something. That's boomer advice. It's totally unrealistic. When you're doom scrolling at midnight, your prefrontal cortex is completely exhausted. You don't have the willpower to pull out a leather notebook and analyze your inner child's trauma while your brain is screaming for a hit of instant gratification. You need something faster. You need a weapon that can cut through the noise instantly. That night, when I was at my absolute lowest point, I forced myself to do something radical. I call it the trash bin test, and it's the only thing that saved my life. I picked up that $500 designer jacket that I had just bought on credit. I closed my eyes tightly, and I stripped away all the glamour. I didn't imagine myself walking into a high-end lounge with people looking at me in awe. Instead, I forced my mind to picture that exact same jacket sitting at the very bottom of a dirty, wet, foul-smelling plastic discount bin at a chaotic wholesale market in the worst part of town. I imagined it covered in dust, wrinkled, and completely abandoned. Then I imagined that exact same jacket being worn by the most annoying, arrogant, toxic person I had ever met in my life, a person whose values I completely despised. I looked at the jacket in that ugly, raw context, and I asked myself a brutal question. Do I still want to spend my hard-earned money on this physical object? The answer was an immediate, resounding no. The desire didn't just fade, it vanished into thin air. In that exact second, I caught my own brain red-handed. I didn't actually want the fabric. I didn't need the warmth. I was starving for the illusion of importance that the marketing campaign had wrapped around it. I was trying to buy a shortcut to confidence because I didn't have the courage to build it from scratch. If you are listening to this right now and you feel that heavy, constant anxiety about your finances, I want you to take a deep breath. Stop running. Stop trying to fill that quiet, empty void in your chest with things made of nylon, glass, and cheap alcohol. The people you are trying so hard to impress on social media do not care about you. The influencers who are pushing these products do not care about your bank account. The second the director shouts cut, or the second the camera turns off, they put down those mass-produced items and return to their real lives, while you are left holding the bill. The next morning after my breakdown, I didn't go to that company party. Instead, I stayed home, opened up my computer, and listed every single luxury item I owned on eBay and Facebook Marketplace.
I sold the jacket, I sold the perfume at a loss, I sold the tech gadgets I didn't need. Every single dollar I brought in went immediately into wiping out my pay-later debts. When that final balance hit zero, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders that no luxury product could ever replicate. For the first time in years, my money belonged entirely to me. I wasn't rich, but I was free. I stopped looking at products as extensions of my identity, and I started looking at them for what they actually are: tools. If a tool doesn't directly increase my income, protect my health, or provide genuine utility, it doesn't enter my life. I stopped buying things to look like a successful person, and I used that saved money to actually build a stable foundation. I started investing in my real skills, my physical health, and my savings. And you know what the strangest part is? The moment I stopped trying to look important, my real confidence began to grow. True style, genuine peace, and actual financial security can never be bottled up and sold to you for 4 easy installments of $37. You do not need to look like your idol to be cool. You do not need to transform your room into a minimalist sanctuary to be disciplined. You just need to stop letting them manipulate your insecurities for profit. The system is designed